Oh, I had the most absurd nightmare. I was poor and no one liked me, and I was forced to sit next to Lou Diamond at a dinner party.
Hello, Thrive Loud listeners. At Thrive Loud, we are always connecting you, the listener, with amazing leaders that are thriving in their lives, their businesses, and their passions. We also have had hundreds of thriving women that have been featured on this podcast. Continuing this important effort, Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, Success.com, and Clubhouse have joined together to create a special series called Elevating the Brilliant Minds of Women. You'll get a chance to learn about these incredible initiatives of women across the globe, hear about how they are thriving, and how you can connect with them today. Enjoy this amazing conversation, and after the episode, learn more about this powerful initiative.
Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have the CEO and the founder of VP Nursing Leadership Training and Coaching. She is a nurse with more than 25 years of experience. She is a John Maxwell certified speaker, coach, and trainer, and has a passion for leadership. Part of our continuing series, Elevating the Brilliant Minds of Women. Thrive Loud listeners, please welcome Dr. Viola Pierce.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so glad you are here and charming and very on brand. She's got her colors. It's fuchsia, pink, purple. Well, I'm not so good with the color, but what would you call the color of what the outfit you're wearing? Pink. Okay. Pink. It's fair. I'm never really good with the colors. That's why I'm wearing black. Literally, it's easier. That's like one option. But I'm very excited here because you have a very impressive business. You have a great story and an incredible journey. We're going to get into all the specifics of all that. I want to kind of do a little rewind. And I guess, judging by how young you are, you've been nursing since you were 5, is what I'm guessing?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit of how you got into the field that you're in, and not from the very beginning, but I kind of want to understand how this specific leadership training and coaching business you have became your gig.
Okay. So do you want to, okay. So the deal was that I had just a one weekend. I was probably been in the nursing profession for about 19 years, okay, and came into the emergency department, which is where I love the most. Like I'm like a flea to a dog for that high, that high intensity, just exciting work that we do in the emergency department. I came in the emergency department one day, and there was, I like to take care of the children between the ages of 2 and 6. And I also like to take care of the matriarchs and the patriarchs of their families. And I remember coming in the emergency department this one weekend, and I had this child that was a fatality due to gunfire. And then that next weekend, there was another child that was a fatality due to gunfire as well. And that next weekend I came in and everything was all good. And I thought, well, okay, we're good here. And I said, thank you, Lord, but that was just the quiet before the storm. The next weekend I came in and there was a child that was a fatality due to his play, because children don't know that their play will harm their life. They don't know whenever they walk past a body of water that they need the skill of swimming in order to be able to survive. They don't know that whenever they walk past grandma's medications, that the medications are toxic to their bodies. They don't know that there's a line of demarcation between the yard and the road, and that line of demarcation is called the curb. And if you cross over there, then your numbers go up exponentially high that you will be killed. Right. And he just didn't know that he didn't understand that. And then there was a patriarch of his family that came in that had a disease process that had been lurking for a long period of time. And once he came in, he didn't realize that he had essentially waited too long. He came in and he was fatality as well. Mm-hmm. And I remember walking out of those 2 rooms with the youngest person in one family, the oldest person in the other family. And I walked down and I looked across the emergency department, and there were people that were there and they were upset because they were not first. When they didn't understand that not being first in the emergency department is not like being first in the Ticketmaster line, right? Right. And so I had to go into this room with this child, with the the parents of this child. And I knew that we were going to tell these parents something that would change the trajectory of their lives forever. And I remember walking outside, and I walked outside and I got into my truck, and normally I toggle to songs um, that are very mellow. This particular time I toggled to a song by Kurt Franklin and Toby Mac, and the song was Be Still and Know That I Am God. And what I realized in that moment was that I didn't understand what was going on, but I needed to trust God in the moment. And it was my spiritual foundation that helped me to stay in the profession. But I knew that nurses needed way more than that. And I knew that they needed to have, their, the five pillars of success, which is family, fitness, finance, spirituality, and leadership. And so then I started the Nurse Nurturer, which is my nonprofit. And then once I started the nonprofit, then I started a for-profit because, one stream of income is hazardous to your wealth, right? So I said, well, let's start the for-profit. And that's where I teach nurses to coach and consult from their computers anywhere around the world, making money and owning their own time.
Okay. First of all, let me get some summary. Thank you for what you do in your service. I think more than ever, and obviously after this past year during the pandemic, it always takes unfortunate things to happen for us to really appreciate those that not only risk their lives, but put an effort forward to save lives every day. And a lot of us overlook the tragedies and the mental anguish and stress and unfortunate things that happen between the ears that these people like yourself face every day, from EMT to doctors, to EMTs, to firemen, to police officers, to have that much exposure to such terrible things. So one, just that on its own, we appreciate for what you do. And then two, to recognize that there's a whole community of people that are really suffering in a way, and not as obviously as badly as those awful stories of the children, facing gunfire at just or terrible accidents and death at way too early of an age. And now recognizing that those that are at the front lines that need coaching, need help, need development in their lives, their professional components, probably between their ears and in their souls. So I, value this second piece of what you do. The third piece is actually a question and a comment, and that is, it takes one step to recognize there's a need. It takes a whole other set of skills to actually run a company, get it off the ground, get the message into marketing and all that. Can you share with the listeners maybe that component of the journey? Because I'm fascinated, because that's a heck of a leap. For your own individual growth and development, what did you need to do to add to your already amazing arsenal as a nurse, but to recognize, to run a business and to be a coach and a trainer and a leadership mentor? Can you share a little bit about that aspect of the journey for yourself?
I think one of the things that helped me was the fact that I worked in the emergency department. And the reality is that it's really, really go type of mentality. And so when I went back to school to get my doctoral degree, it was really, you had to have the tenacity in order to be able to make it through, in order to be able to do the things that you needed to do. And so once I got out of there, I was like, well, what's the next step? And when I said, what's the next step? Then I decided to get coaching myself, because I believe that a coach needs a coach, right? And so once I got Miss Susie Carter, who is my coach, it was just, and I've since had other coaches, Tanisha Okiki. I mean, just really, really understanding that I needed different dynamics, different coaches in order to help me to get to where I needed to be. It was just an amazing journey. And just creating that mental capacity, that mental drive, right? And so I did a 75-day challenge where I literally in the morning, I would read a proverb in the morning, I would pray, I would journal or even meditate. I would walk 4 miles a day. I would no TV, no alcohol. I would read, 10 pages of an entrepreneurial book a day, and then I would go live every day.
Yeah.
And that created the mental capacity to be able to continue. And so literally it is it's getting off the ground, and it is amazing. It's amazing to see the actual responses or the actual growth within my own clients. I love it.
It's awesome. And a shout out. I know that you got John Maxwell leadership certification. John Maxwell's been a guest on Thrive Loud. And one of the more engaging conversations. The man has written like 32 books, and I caught him somewhere between like book number 30 and 31. Not exactly sure which one he was plugging at that moment, but I probably learned more about leadership, thought process, self-development, how to manage your own thoughts as a leader in a 30-minute conversation than I probably ever would have ever imagined. So to learn in that program, it's so highly regarded, and kudos to you for going through all of that. But I ask a really interesting question for you here, Viola, because I'm very curious to hear how you answer this. What is the most rewarding component or the most rewarding thing about VP nursing that literally gets you like stoked to get out of bed every single day?
The most rewarding thing is seeing the actual results that my clients have as a part of my coaching. That is the most rewarding thing. And so literally, I am always looking to myself for things that can enhance them. And so it is every single day. Literally on Sunday, because I know that I need to pour back into myself. I'm a firm believer that my cup needs to be full and overflowing in order for me to be able to pour into other people. So I literally have to sit down and like tie my hands almost together. Because I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, we have a good time. It's not just going in. It's hard work, right? But it's going in and having a good time while you're doing the work. So that is the thing that keeps me going.
Viola, I want to get to recent current events, or whatever we would like to call it. There might be double speak there, but over this past year, obviously, as I mentioned, specifically with the virus where it was, can you talk about the type of work, or maybe the coaching things, the things that you were seeing, the issues and problems from that view and that seat, from so many people dealing with some really, really stressful components? I know this because obviously I live just outside of New York City, and what was going on during the epicenter between March and April. I mean, the exhaustion levels of all of these people and what they were seeing, and so much death and so much, such uncertainty, and it just felt like it was never ending. Whoever thought that banging of pots and pans would literally be like the most, tear-joking moments in the world to show appreciation. But I guess from your purview and what you have seen, can you share a little bit with our listeners about what that time was like?
Well, I think that it nurses as a general rule, nurses, healthcare professionals, I think that as a general rule, they struggled, period, right? From the beginning, right? The story that I told was something that I struggled with from the beginning because of the hard work that you have to do, like the arduous work at times that you have to do. And sometimes it can be very thankless, right? And so, but I saw 4 people pass away in 1 month. Yeah. They see 4 people pass away in 1 shift.
Yeah.
And suffering from that secondary trauma syndrome, right? Because the reality is that we know exactly what needs to be done at this point, for the most part, okay? COVID is still kind of questionable, right? But we know for the most part what we need to do in order to take care of the patients. However, when you just don't have the capacity within your healthcare system in order to be able to take care of those patients, I mean, it is purely exhausting. And that secondary trauma syndrome where you just cannot, we had a physician, I want to say the physician was from New York. The physician worked in the hospital in New York, but they were from Virginia. And she killed herself.
Oh yeah, I knew the story. She was a Cornell grad. I know the story of that. It was awful. Just
awful.
Constant. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's one of those things that we just have to come together, really be very intent. For my business, it just gives them, something, because what happens is you work your 72 hours a week or 40 hours a week. I mean, not 72 hours a week, 36 hours a week, 36 to 40 hours a week, right? But then when you expand that out and you work more in that arena instead of working on something that you would literally, like I would literally wake up every day and do the things that I do without getting paid, right? That's the thing that you want them to do in order to release, in order to thrive,
Yeah.
right? And so those are the things that that I encourage, every healthcare professional to do, to have that thing that they would do no matter if anyone paid them or not.
Right.
And always been at the bedside sometimes can be very, very stressful.
Yeah, no, and it just elevates, when you realize how important these people are to everybody. And all these stories of people not being able to see loved ones before they left. It really showed what kind of stress there was just in so many different areas. So I love asking all the guests on the program this question, Viola, and I'm very curious to hear where you go with this, because you have a unique life. You've created a unique practice. And on most days, in this essence of what you're doing and loving what you're doing, you're thriving. However, as we were just discussing, we all have days when we're not quite working on all cylinders and not all the triggers are working and we're not on our best. On those days when you're not thriving, what practice do you seek, or what individual do you seek out to get yourself back on the thriving track?
So I'm very intentional about my circle. I'm very intentional about my friendship circle. And so I've got just a wealth of friends that are just amazing. And so not just that, I have an amazing husband. I mean, he is just like, when I go to him and I'm crying, we were just discussing actually just before the show came on that we're just best friends, right? Mm-hmm. And so literally when I am having that rough day, he is the one that pours back into me. And, and I just kind of get still. I love God, right? So, me and God, we just kind of sit with each other, and I'm like, look, God, I'm struggling today, and and just kind of let God pour into me, because I am an introvert, and people wouldn't know that, but I just need to be still sometimes and let God pour into me. And I'm a firm believer that God gives you renewed strength day by day, and if I can just make it to that next day, then I'm good.
Dr. Viola Pierce, let's do the admin part of the show. If you could share with the listeners all the places people can find you, websites, URLs, social media handles, wherever it is you want to send them. We will put it on the show notes, but it always gets way more engagement when they hear it directly from you.
Okay. Well, you can go to my website. It's www.vpnursing.com. V as in Victor, P as in Paul, nursing.com. And then Instagram at VP Nursing, Facebook, Viola Pierce. I do have a Facebook group called The Nurse Nurturer. YouTube, we have a it's called The Nurse Nurturer YouTube channel. And then Twitter, VP Nursing. No, actually, that was Nurse Nurturer.
We'll clarify it, but we know it's one of the two. They could search both, and hopefully they'll find the right one.
That's right. But yes, that's and of course LinkedIn, Viola Pierce, Dr. Viola Pierce.
Dr. Viola Pierce, permission to go down Fun Street with me here on Thrive Loud, which I know we've already been having fun, but I just want to continue in this path.
Okay, well, I want to tell you too, we have a new a 12-week program.
Oh, yeah, bring it.
Nursing Business Academy. It's going to be for 12 weeks. We are launching next month, probably March 1st, but it's going to be March 1st is when it's going to open. We're going to have open card, but we're going to begin April 8th. And so we will have that 12-week business academy, and you will I have learned from the best. And so you will get all that in one program. It's going to be amazing.
Spectacular. Permission, Dr. Viola Pierce, to go down Fun Street with me this time.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
All righty. First of all, can you share with the listeners one or two of your favorite movies? Because when we started this interview, you exactly weren't sure what the heck you picked. But anyway, what is one of your favorite movies?
So Hidden Figures.
Okay. And why does that movie connect so much with you?
I think it connects so much with me because of the tenacity of the women. They were just bosses, and I am going to make this work regardless of, and like they showed up every day, all the time. they just made it happen. Yeah. And so that's what I like, is people showing up and making it happen.
The best scene in the whole movie is the scene with the restroom. When she realizes that she has to go all the way to the restroom and eventually explains the situation. And the character played by Kevin Costner, who's unaware of this, which was giving you a sign of the times, or at least whether he was aware or not is not relevant, at least in the movie. The awareness of how valuable certain things are and what a tough world it was and how unique these three women really were. Really, it's really incredible. It's a tough movie not to just get behind and just champion them the whole time, right? It's kind of cool.
That was an amazing scene, and especially when he went over there and knocked that sign down.
Right.
He's my man.
Okay, so the way we roll here in the speed round, Dr. Viola Pierce of Fun Street, is I'm going to ask you something, and I want the first thing that comes to your mind. These are things that lift you up, that make you feel good, that motivate you, that make you thrive. And I want the first thing that comes to your mind, so you don't have to think too much about it. Okay. Just quick knee-jerk reaction stuff. Okay. A song that you love to hear or that pumps you up.
It's a song by Stephen Furtick. Actually, all of his songs. He has these songs that are very, that just get me going.
Which was the one? Is there one particular one, or all of them?
Do It Again. I do believe it's the one that I listen to most of the time.
Okay. A favorite food that's not a dessert.
Definitely guacamole.
I like that answer. A favorite dessert.
Definitely red velvet cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, that's it. I've seen that. I've seen it. I don't know if I've had it. It was just too big to look at. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I want that, but I'm just too full. An activity you wish you did more of.
Running.
An activity you wish you did less of.
Eating.
I don't believe that. I'm saying that you look like a rock star, so I have no idea what you're talking about. If you could snap your fingers and go anywhere in the universe, where are you?
Dubai.
Ooh, have you been?
No.
Oh, no, I haven't been either. You're like the third person that has said this, and obviously people have seen it. Someone told me there's an indoor ski resort in this place. Hey,
that is on my bucket. I'm going to go there, and I'll write you back, and I'll tell you whenever I go there, and they pay for me to speak to go there. Okay.
I'll make a deal with you. Let's get a double speaking gig. Both of us will speak there, and we'll both fly out. And I want to go on that really cool plane that seems to like put you in like your own like little private cabin. Totally with you on that. Awesome stuff. Dr. Viola Pierce, VP Nursing. Truly appreciate everything that you're doing. It was such an honor to have you here on Thrive Loud. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
Thanks for listening to this special episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, brought to you by Success.com and Thrive Loud. To learn more about this great program and elevating the brilliant minds of women, head on over to thriveloud.com or success.com. And make sure to follow Lou at Thrive Loud everywhere on social media to learn more about this special series. Thanks for listening.